You're thinking about moving to San Diego, so these are going to be 15 things that you need to know, so stay tuned. Alright, what's up everybody? So this video is going to be all about San Diego and 15 things plus a bonus tip that you need to know if you're thinking about moving to San Diego. And trust me, stick around to the very end because you don't want to miss this final bonus tip. But real quick, if you're thinking about moving to, from, or within San Diego, don't be shy about getting a hold of me. I'm getting tons of calls, emails, and texts, and I absolutely love it. If there's anything I can do to help you reach your real estate goals, I will 100% make it happen. And if you get a second, you want to learn everything about San Diego, like where to eat, work, sleep, play, everything, then make sure to tap subscribe and then click that little bell. That way you're notified every single time I upload a new video. All right, so let's hop right in. So number one, there is always something to do. Doesn't matter what you're into, there's gonna be festivals, live music shows, marathons, hiking, boating, skiing. Not a whole lot of skiing happening in San Diego. It's nearby, but not a whole lot of skiing. There is literally something to do every single day, every weekend. There's something for everybody. Okay, so number two, and this gets overlooked all the time, but San Diego is a mecca for companies and innovators. So the companies people know about, Qualcomm, Illumina, they're here. But what a lot of people don't realize is that companies continue to arrive or start up in San Diego. Everything from healthcare to technology, craft beer, we have it all. It's an amazing, amazing city for innovation. All right, so no matter what industry you're in and innovation is your thing, you can always feel comfortable that there will always be companies in San Diego that meet your needs and are suited for you. Okay, so number three is gonna be the weather. So San Diego's well known for some of the best weather in the world, but what you need to know is that it's not gonna be 75, 73 degrees, whatever your comfort level is, every single day in sunshine. We do get our share of rain, nothing like what the rest of the country gets, but we do have some rainy days. And you gotta know that if you're living, the closer you are, let's say to the coastline, there's gonna be a marine layer most of the time, so it's gonna feel like fog, but it can be around for the majority of the day. So you might be real stoked that you live very, very close to the water, you're on the sand, but you're also gonna be dealing with that marine layer quite a bit. And it's also important to note that the months that maybe tourists or most people consider like the beach months, let's say, which would, June, July, August, they may not necessarily be the best days for weather to go to the beach. If you live in San Diego, I love to be at the beach on, let's say, September or October. You're just past the peak of the tourist season, so there's less people on the sand, but those 2 months are some of the best weather months in San Diego. Okay, so number four is gonna be the fact that there's a lot of attractions that cater to kids. There are so many cool day trips available. You're gonna have Legoland up on Carlsbad. You're gonna have the San Diego Zoo or the San Diego Wild Animal Park or Safari Park. I don't even know what they call it these days. Either way, it's an amazing experience, especially to bring the kids to. You're also gonna have the kiddie park at Belmont Park in Mission Beach. You're also gonna have SeaWorld located right next to Pacific Beach. I think they're cleaning up the reputation these days, but they do save and do a lot for a lot of the local marine life. If there's an injured sea lion or something on the beach, there's only one person to call. Okay, so number five is gonna be the beaches. I mentioned it a little bit up when we were talking about the weather, but there is nothing like the coastline of San Diego. We have over 70 miles of beaches, and for the most part, that's gonna be sandy, white sandy beaches. We do have some beaches that are more of like a cliff or some that are rocky, but for the most part, usable, relaxation, picturesque, postcard worthy beaches. Okay, so thing number six is gonna be the fact you need to know that San Diego, if you're a big sports fan, we're only gonna have at this point one major professional sports team, the San Diego Padres. So the good news here is that the San Diego Padres play in Major League Baseball's best ballpark at Petco Park. It's an amazing experience for anybody, the sports fan, non-sports fan. It's good for families, good if you're out by yourself, singles. It's an amazing experience. One of the most fun things to do on the weekends especially. And if you're into college sports, San Diego State has a surging NCAA men's basketball team. In fact, 2020 was going to be the year. It's probably the best men's basketball team of all time at San Diego State, but it got cut short COVID-19. And San Diego State men's football team, they've been a powerhouse for years. They're starting to get national recognition. They've cracked the top 25 multiple years in a row. It's an amazing sports team with a new stadium on the way, so keep an eye on them. Okay, so thing to know number 7 is going to be, you need to be aware of the cost of living in San Diego. So the cost of living here is not cheap. I think it ranks number 11 or number 12 on most surveys or rankings, but those same rankings always usually put out a quality of life, and San Diego is always at the top or near the top, usually number 5 or number 6. I would say number 1, but I'm a little biased. So living in San Diego is amazing, but it doesn't come cheap. Okay, so thing number 8 to know is going to be the fact that San Diego has a lot of transplants, and I mean a lot. It's more surprising to meet somebody new and talk to somebody in San Diego and find out they're from San Diego than not. So there's a lot of transplants in the area. So a thing to know, number 9 is kind of related to number 8 a little bit, has to do with transplants, but San Diego is a massive, massive military city. So we're gonna have the naval base here. We're gonna have, if you go near San Diego Bay, you're gonna see these huge aircraft carriers, which is really cool. You can actually go in one, the Midway Museum, which is a lot of fun. But we're also gonna have Miramar, which everybody knows from the movie Top Gun. So we have, and we also have Camp Pendleton, which is a huge Marine base. So lots and lots of military in town. Okay, so next it's going to be San Diego. So the location is perfect. So it's ideally located for weekend trips or even really day trips. So we're right on the border with Mexico. So assuming everything is good and it's safe, you can go down to Mexico for a day, come back, maybe go down, stay for a night or two. I was a little bit younger, I used to go down there quite a bit, used to go surfing, so it's a lot of fun. But we're also real close to Las Vegas. You can drive to Las Vegas in 5.5 hours. I used to do that drive when I was younger, but these days I'm usually hopping on an airplane because it only takes about 30, 45 minutes maybe to get there. Much easier. But we're also close to the local mountains. You can go up to Big Bear, let's say. You can, 2.5 hour car ride, you can go snowboarding, skiing, so you can do it in one day. It's a little tiring, and if you're up to it, but you can go early in the morning and be back by the evening. All right, so the thing to know number 12 is gonna be the fact that San Diego has great food options, whether it be Italian food, steak, I mean, we have world-class steakhouses, whatever the cuisine style you like, whatever it might be, even real specific options. We have vegan options, gluten-free options, entire restaurants dedicated to that. So it's pretty cool. And as far as quality, they can stand up to the best of them. It's probably some of the best restaurant choices in the state. Okay, so number 13 here is going to be the craft beer selection. So San Diego is known by most as the craft beer capital of the world. In fact, San Diego is very well known for IPAs, and that came from Stone Brewery, which is huge now. Stone Brewery has a couple different locations that you can check out. It's an amazing way to spend the day. And there's also a lot of other smaller breweries around. Well, not so small anymore. Ballast Point is huge, but it's very prevalent in San Diego, and awesome thing to check out. Okay, so number 14 here is going to be the fact that San Diego is extremely dog friendly. I've got dogs, so I love it. Literally wherever humans go, for the most part, their dogs will go. Like nothing, I see dogs everywhere now. Nothing really surprises me anymore. Okay, so number 15 here is going to be the fact that San Diego, and you need to be aware of this because it can affect you as far as your water consumption. I don't mean like you drink, but as far as watering your lawn, anything you use water for. If you're from somewhere else, you might not, or from another state, let's say, you might not have thought about this as much. So, but we do have droughts. So if we're in the drought, depending on the year, sometimes it can be a worse drought, sometimes it can be a better drought. But on the bad droughts, you're going to be limited as to how much water per household you can use. So usually not a big deal, but if you use too much water, you're going to see it in your bill because you get penalized for it. And also, those droughts can be directly tied to wildfire and fire season. So if we have a severe drought, it's actually good for fire season because you don't get as much natural vegetation that grows, not as much fuel for the fire. But on the flip side, if we have less of a drought or no drought, we're in no drought status, whatever they call it. But that means that you probably had a lot more rain and there's a lot more natural vegetation and a lot more fuel for those fires. So when summer rolls around or fire season, it's usually going to be a little bit busier. So just something to keep in mind, especially if you're living in a fire zone. Okay, so bonus tip, and this is something some people think of, but other people's don't. But I can tell you that being somebody who grew up in Southern California, being in San Diego almost my whole life, I don't think about this that much, but it's going to be the fact that we have earthquakes. So we have a lot of them, but I can tell you this, is that you pretty much, for the most part, you're not going to feel any of them. Every now and then you have one that's high enough on the Richter scale. Is that the right term? But you're going to feel it a little bit, but rest assured that most of them are actually not that big. And even the bigger ones, for the most part, things are moving. So it's a little bit weird. I'll give you that. But San Diego is retrofitted and absolutely built for earthquakes. So I know the high-rise buildings tend to move, they move a little bit. It's a little scary when you talk about it, but it's built for earthquakes. And I can tell you that after living here for a little while, once you've been through a few earthquakes, you don't really think about them all that much. That being said, you got to be aware that a big earthquake could have major repercussions, and you should absolutely know what to do in that situation, but not really something that we think about all that much or need to worry about. All right, so those are things that I think you should know if you're thinking about moving to San Diego. Maybe you've been here for a little while, but things you probably should be aware of. So if you're thinking about moving to or from or within San Diego, don't be shy about reaching out to me. I'm getting tons of emails, calls, and texts, and I absolutely love it. If there's anything I can do to help you reach your real estate goals, I will 100% make it happen. And I'll see you on the next video.